Well, if you missed last time, here's what happened.
Stop complaining right
Yeah, could you stop complaining for just a minute so you can just shove some food in your mouth so we can do this video?
Let's give you some chips and some cheese. So you got
You got regular cheese. You got cheese that should
this
be
is
not
how
this.
she goes, folks. This is how she goes.
No, this is not good.
Well, if you're still here, I'm really happy. It's just kind of weird because you clicked on this looking for something about horror villains and slasher movies, and mostly so far you've watched an older gentleman eat cheese. So stick around so you can see him complain about things that he doesn't care about. Yeah, no, it's slasher movies. They're in here too. What's up, all? You've got Rob from Terror at Synth High, and welcome back. This is the fourth part in a four-part series about my mom and dad guessing slasher movies and slasher movie villains. If you're joining for the first time today, I highly recommend that you check this out from the beginning, and that would be with my mom's video right here. And if you have joined before, thank you so much and welcome back. And now we're going to be doing the final part, which is going to have my dad's second half of guessing his slasher movies and slasher movie villains. And yeah, we're going to go from there. The rules, just to recap, are going to be that he can either guess the movie or the villain for 1 point. And at the end, we're going to see who guesses more points, my mom or my dad. If you've watched some of the other videos, you might know kind of where that's going. But either way, I think this is the most entertaining one because this is the one where he's the crankiest. And that's just, hey, you watch it for value, not for the points. Am I right? Check it. So this movie is actually one of the newer movies. This was actually from the mid-2000s. This is a very brutal movie. It was playing back on some of the 80s kind of things, you know, in terms of like slasher movies and, you know, masked killers and a lot of that. So in this movie, what does that look like? What does that look like that guy has on his head?
Looks like he got an umbrella on his head.
Yeah, it's a weird mask. You can tell kind of by the there's a handle down there. This movie takes place in a bowling alley. What would be in a bowling alley?
A horror movie in a bowling alley.
Yeah. Yep.
What would be in a bowling?
That would be, yeah. What kind of mask?
I don't know.
It's part of the clue as to what the name of the killer is, because the name of the killer is, what would you hold a bowling ball in?
In a bowling ball bag.
So...
Bowling ball massacre.
The name of the killer is BBK, for bowling bag killer, because he wears a bowling bag on his head, right? So and they made it look like there's like an umbrella, say like a pina colada kind of thing, but that's two pins and it's upside down and everything, and it's kind of clever. Whatever. Either way, very brutal movie. It's like I said, a playback to some earlier 80s movies, and it's about this, this guy's taking revenge for the rape of a girl that happened in the bowling alley the night before. And there's two rival teams that are kind of going against each other. You don't care about any of this, and that's fine. Anyway, on to the next one. In this movie, there is a killer who, there was a man who went crazy, and he killed his kids and his wife. And don't look at like, well, I can get that.
I can see the wife.
I can see that.
I don't know about the kids, but the wife, yeah, you could be driven to that.
Terror at Synth High does not support the opinions of Robert Sr. So yeah, okay. So in this movie, he ends up in the beginning of the movie. It said that this guy killed his wife and his kids with an axe, and that he was going to be brought to justice. They were going to hang him. It was out in the middle of the woods years ago, he was going to be brought to justice. So he ends up escaping that and running off into the woods, right? So he runs off into the woods, and he ends up escaping everybody. And then there ends up being a legend about him. I don't know how, this doesn't really make sense, but there ends up being a legend about him that if his name is said above a whisper in the woods, that he'll come and he'll kill whoever says it, right? So it's like an urban legend kind of a thing. So, yeah, that happens in the movie, right? Somebody says his name in the woods and he starts going and killing people and everything. So his last name is Mars, M-A-R-Z, Mars. And his first name is another M word that would describe kind of how he is. He's a crazy person, right?
Yeah.
So it's alliteration. M, Mars.
Maniac.
No, another one that's close to maniac. It's actually
Psycho.
It's actually M.
Oh, M.
Mars. But it's one word. I'm not being very clear, am I?
I don't know any of this stuff. No.
I know. That's the video. Thank you for doing it. It's fun.
You done?
No, I'm not
No.
done. It's fun.
Huh? Are we done?
You're obviously ready to be done.
No, I'm not. It's wonderful, but. I mean,
Thanks for joining, folks.
we're done, huh?
No.
I got a good joke. You want to hear it?
No, don't. Nobody wants to hear it.
About getting
So-
your head split open with an axe.
All right. So his name is M. Mars.
Mickey Mouse.
Madman Mars.
Oh, okay.
Tell your joke.
Tell my-
I'm gonna regret this. I'm gonna regret this. Tell
Okay,
your joke.
I'm-
Tell your joke.
This guy sees another guy and looks upset, so he says, "What's the matter?" And the guy says, "Well, my wife just died." He says, "Oh, that's terrible." He says, "Yeah, it's the third one that's died on me." Third one that's died. He said, "First wife, how'd she die?" He says, "She died eating poison mushrooms."
Oh, we're doing the poison mushroom
And how about
joke?
the second wife? How did she die? And he says, she died eating poison mushrooms also. So the guy says, "What about the third wife? She died eating poison mushrooms?" The guy says, "No, she got her head split open with an axe." And he says, "How'd that happen?" He says, "She wouldn't eat the poison mushrooms." Okay.
Thank you for sharing that. I've heard it 500 times.
Well, they haven't, whoever they are,
That's true.
because they probably are pretty weird and don't get out often. Right, folks?
I don't know, man. The opinions of Robert Sr. do not reflect the opinions of Robert Jr. from Terror at Synth High. Although sometimes they can.
Yeah, as you get older, they'll reflect you. You turn into your father. You turn into your parents.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is...
Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Looks like he had his face in the fire, too, huh?
He does look like he had, doesn't
my.
he? So this guy's backstory is he's a camp caretaker. And he was very abusive to the kids and everything, and he was an alcoholic. And he was, they ended up playing a prank on him, and he ended up getting burned really bad. And the clue is in that he got burned. So this guy, and this is actually based on a New York State urban legend from the Catskills and from the Adirondacks. And it was the urban legend. So the name of the guy is Cropsey. I'll give you the name. So you're just going to try to guess the title of the movie. So Cropsey is the name, and I hadn't heard that before. Before I started getting into these movies. This movie particularly. So what happened to him? Like I said, he was burned. So the name of the movie is
The Burning of Cropsey.
That's actually probably a better name for the movie. It was just The Burning.
Oh.
Was the name of the movie. It was an early 80s movie. So he comes back and he ends up, trying to, take revenge. And it's actually some of the kids that were at the camp are now the counselors.
Oh.
He's trying to take advantage, kill them and kill everybody else around him because he's just pissed off. And he looks like that. So, gotta
They're they the ones who lit his place on fire?
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
What happened? What did he do to them?
He kills them. He tries to kill them. He kills them except for, some of them get away. But then a kid and one of the camp counselors, who was one of the ones who burned him when he was, the caretaker, they end up getting revenge on him at the end of the movie and killing him.
The guy who lit them on fire?
Yes. They end up, this guy ends
Yeah.
up getting killed by one of the guys that played the prank on him. It's kind of up, right? Like they him up, so you
Yeah, he should
almost
kill
feel
them.
bad. You almost feel bad for him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you almost do. Except he kills a lot of people that are also innocent too. He kills kids and he kills other stuff. So he's crazy. But yeah, you almost feel bad for him, right? because you're just like, yeah, like what the this happened to him for no reason of his own.
Right.
Right. The Burning 2. Cropsy Gets Revenge. Okay, so this guy is this guy has a name. Don't worry about that. This guy has a name that's also a name of a city in Nevada. It's not Las Vegas.
Reno.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. That's it. Yeah.
He looks like one of the Rolling Stones, to be honest.
Yeah, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Doesn't he? You're right. He does. He's got that slim face and the curly hair and everything. Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's a good call. So the name of the
What's
movie.
he got, a pistol drill in his hand?
Yeah. So the name of this movie is The Driller Killer. And this guy is, this is a really weird movie. It's a really weird 70s movie, where what happens is he's an artist, and he's trying to, like make some like very avant-garde art and everything. It's very weird art, and he's on like a strict deadline. He's kind of losing his mind, like being on this deadline and like trying to like pay his bills and everything. And he's got this girlfriend who's kind of his girlfriend and kind of not. And then he's also like, there's this band that's playing in an apartment underneath him in this cheap place that he lives in, and they're driving him crazy because they're playing loud all the time. And he's just losing his mind, and he eventually breaks, and he goes out and he buys a drill. He buys this proto-pack drill, which is it's battery powered.
Oh, okay.
So it's not plugged. It doesn't have to be plugged in.
Yeah.
And he goes around. He just starts killing people. He starts killing homeless people, and he starts killing people that he thought.
What is he drilling in what? In the head or?
Just drills him in the head. It's called The Driller Killer. It's gritty, and it was filmed in New York City, and it's got that very when it was made in 1970. I want to say 79. Not positive about that. I have to check that out. But it was, during when New York City was still like very gritty and like very like, I mean, better than I do, like how New York City, you were going down there all the time. And you know how New York City was like, not cleaned up as much then.
Well, I lived in New York City till 1976.
Right. So you remember how, where there was the whole homeless population and like all the drugs and everything, and like everything was on the streets then.
Yeah, and they were burned every building in the Bronx for the insurance, and yeah, it was a bad.
Right.
Yeah, it was a bad time. Everybody left the city. Anybody who left.
Yeah.
Left it in those 70s.
Right. So that's kind of what it captures on film in this movie is, how just terrible the streets were in New York City. It's kind of a time capsule when you look back and watch this movie, because it was it had so many like raw, just like things that couldn't be really made now. Also due to the content of the film. But yeah, so it's but yeah, his name's Reno. You got it.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Oh.
You know this guy.
Is that Scissorhands or?
No, it's not Scissorhand. But you know this guy. Come on, man. I saved this one for last for you. You know this. Come on, this is one of the most famous ones.
I might know it, but not that I ever saw it. But...
All right, we used to go to the flea market, and there'd be like pictures of this guy.
What's the initial first?
F.
F? Freddy.
Yes.
Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger. There you go. There you go. You got it. And this is, obviously one of the biggest movies from the 80s. This is one of the ones that had a lot of sequels, had a lot of, just a lot of pop culture.
What's he got for hands there, or fingers? What is it?
Yeah, so he's got a glove that he made with knives on it, and he uses that for killing children. So he kills kids in their dreams. That was the whole thing about Freddy Krueger. So the story of Freddy Krueger is that he was, when he was a person, when he was a human, before he died, he was a child molester and just a child abuser in general. And he was a terrible person. And then all of the town's parents cornered him and into a basement and in a boiler room and burned him and killed him. Just like
real?
Town Jester.
Just a movie.
As real as you want it to be.
It sounds real to me.
Well, what sounds real?
Because I lived in the city, and people were like that.
Oh, okay.
That's why everybody left.
Well, in the movie, this happened.
Now they're freaky grandchildren are back living there again. Yeah, after their parents went to the suburbs, right? Yeah, so
interesting. thank you for doing this with me. This was fun.
You're welcome. And I have no idea of horror movies, but I didn't know it was such a, I guess you can make a living in this. I don't know, but
I don't know either.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Well, anyway, tune in, folks, and you won't get anything like this on any other channel. This is.
I believe that's accurate.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you, Dad.
You're welcome, son.
Take care, guys. So there you have it. At the end of the day, it looks like my dad narrowly beat my mom out in this game. But let's be quite honest. I mean, this really just had to do with, what clues I was giving out at what points, and because really, neither of them had any interest in any of this stuff. So I'm just really happy that they both did it. So thanks, guys. And a very big thanks to you all for watching as well. If you haven't seen the other parts, please go back and check those out. They're all pretty damn entertaining. And let me know if you think I should do this again. Do another little competition with my parents with horror and see who gets annoyed faster. It's gonna be my dad. But do let me know if this was fun for you to watch, because it was really fun for me to make and to do with my parents. Then hey, next time we'll feed you more beforehand, Dad, all right? Then you shouldn't have any complaints, right? Right? I'm just kidding. It's not gonna be fun unless you're suffering. Love you.